Are live, folks, and so is Louie. She's live with us, having a great time.
She
Welcome,
does not want to
welcome.
be left out.
No, she doesn't. She wants to be a part of this amazing sale. So tonight I am joined by Patrick over at Trusty Huckster Mercantile, and we are having a really fun advertising and ephemera sale, which this is very near and dear to my heart. So I am very, very excited about the sale. I've had fun sourcing for it and picking out some really, really cool things. So I'm excited to share that with you all. And I know Patrick has some amazing things as well. He's been previewing them over on his Instagram. So if you don't follow Patrick on Instagram or on YouTube, you really should, because he's got an amazing account and channel. And I've linked all that down below. Before we get started with our hellos, I will tell you that this is a first to claim live sale. That means that everything is a set price with a number. The first person to type in that number will get the item. Nate, I believe, will be keeping track for us in the chat tonight if he is here. So he will be announcing all of the winners. So whatever Nate says goes. So you got to make it all the way to New Zealand with your internet. There are no offer ups or just in cases in this live sale. I have put all of the information about the live sale and our policies down below if you want to read that in the description box, as well as our emails. And of course, Patrick's email is on the screen, and I realize mine is not, but I can give that a quick update here in just a second. So you guys have that as well on screen, so that when you do buy something from us tonight, make sure you email us with your name, your address, your PayPal information. That's your PayPal email address. And then we can get you a shipping quote and an invoice over to you for the items that you purchased tonight. So Patrick, thanks so much for joining tonight, and welcome to everyone in the chat.
Absolutely looking forward to it. This is something I carry pieces like this on occasion, but when we decided to do this as a theme sale, I had a lot of fun sourcing for it, and I actually oversourced. So some of the stuff will roll over into my future sales, but for now, I've got some really good stuff that I wanted to share in the sale with you tonight.
Fantastic. So I'll do a couple of quick hellos. We've got Edward tuning in into the chat, and Edward says he just received his first 12-inch vinyl record. Dead or alive. Wow, that's very exciting, Edward. You're going to have fun listening to that. And Louie's excited about your record as well. Helen is in the chat, so welcome, Helen. Hey, Angela, another Illinois person coming in the chat. We've got Peterson here tonight, so welcome, Peterson. Thanks so much for tuning in. Diana, Little Vintage Me, haven't seen you in a while, so welcome back. Chad, Shop Retro Days, is here. Welcome, Chad. Got Stud with a Stash. Sam is in the chat tonight. Welcome, Sam. We got Brian from the Chicagoland area. Thanks so much, Brian, for tuning in. And Carrie is in the chat, so welcome, welcome. Peterson is joining us. Susan Houghton, Thrifter Not Hoarder. Cheryl Ross is here. Vinny is tuning in. Sheila Fruman is back, so welcome, Sheila. Welcome, everybody in the chat. It is flying by. Lemmy Lemon is here. Jamie is tuning in. So welcome, Jamie. Mid-Century Wasted. Cam Folly is here. So welcome to you, Cam. Thanks so much for tuning in. And the chat is flying by. Let's see. I see Donna DeMama. I haven't seen you in a while either, so I'm so glad to have you back on my channel. Welcome. And Nate is here, so he will be keeping track tonight. He is wonderful. And if you are not subscribed to Nate, again, make sure you go check out his channel. He is part of the Triptych. And that will be happening soon this Sunday. And Patrick, you've got something coming up for that, don't you?
I do. This Sunday will be my turn to host on Trusty Huckster Mercantile, and I will be telling the tales of Hot Wheels, specifically the Red Line Hot Wheels from the early days of the company. So that'll be Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Trusty Huckster Mercantile.
And I am really looking forward to that. So make sure you guys tune in, because those Hot Wheels are something we probably see a lot of, but don't know much about. So I'm really excited to learn more about those. I know the red lines are super desirable. Tim is tuning in from Canada. So welcome, Tim. I see Delbert's in the chat. He'll probably be keeping us laughing through the evening. Jeannie is tuning in, Chicago lady. And anybody else I missed, I'm so sorry. The chat just flies by. So a big hello to all of you. We will kick off the sale with Patrick and his first item for the evening. And I can't wait to see this sale, because it is going to be really fun.
Yeah, so hopefully everyone enjoys what we've got to offer tonight. It's in some cases a little bit different than what I've offered before. And one of the things that I can't say was on purpose, but I was lucky in some of the items I was sourcing, I found multiples. So since we do not do offer ups and there's a lot of conversation, and I personally have lost viewers because they feel that first to claim isn't fair if they have slow internet. This is a chance for people, when I get multiples, more than one person can win. So I think that's always fun. So the first item I have, and this is an item that I actually showed on my Instagram channel. So if you do not follow me at THMmercantile, I'll typically showcase a handful of items in advance so you see some of what's going on. So this looks like a little Matchbox cover or a Matchbook cover, and it is an advertising piece. Most of my stuff today, or all my stuff tonight, is really heavily on the advertising. It was for a TV center or TV repair center. You see compliments, TV center, television is our only business. Phone number, the old-fashioned phone number, College 2553. And then on the other side, you get more information, that cool graphic service at, what does it say? Service at expert? No, service by experts. And this was out of Beloit, Wisconsin. So southern Wisconsin. No zip code or any information on here, but Beloit would have been small enough they wouldn't have gotten a singular 2-digit zip code. This is probably, I would say, they had to have TVs. So we're at least in the 50s, if not the 60s. But I could totally see this, coming through the Pleasantville, one of Katie and my favorite movies.
Oh, I love that movie.
So what this is, though, like I said, it looks like a matchbook, but it is not a matchbook. It opens like a matchbook, and they actually kind of look like matches, but they are actually emery boards. There are 8 emery boards in this collection, 4 and 4. Each one is perforated, so you can tear it out just like you could tear out a match, but it is a little emery board. So these are basically new old stock. I have 3 of them. So admittedly, 2 of them are this, what I think maybe once was blue and is kind of faded a little bit. And then I have one that's red. So it's just going to be a grab bag. Don't request a color. You're just going to get the one that I grab at the time I fill your order. These are super lightweight, super flat. So they're going to ship in a regular envelope. So postage wise, you're probably paying, I doubt if this is even going to hit 2 ounces. So you're probably looking at I think 60 cents is what a first class stamp is now. So I have 3 of these available, and they are $5. So $5 each for the little TV repair matchbook emery boards. $5 by giving me number 51. $5, number 51 for one of the 3 TV repair matchbooks.
Oh my gosh, Patrick, those are so fun. I love that. I've never seen anything quite like that. So my first item tonight, we're just going to go ahead and get the clowns out of the way because I am not a big fan of clowns, but I was really excited to find this piece of ephemera because I'd never seen anything like it, and it was the most unique thing I'd ever seen. So what this is a little booklet, and yes, it does have moths, grasshoppers, and clowns, and it is for Quaker Oats. Now, what's really cool about this is from 1898. So this has been around a while. Now, this is the Grasshopper Circus. It's by Froley Company. And this particular advertising booklet was made to advertise Quaker Oats. And it was actually a children's story for the American children. Now, what's funny about this is if you read the story, which I'll share some of it in just a minute, it actually is talking a little bit about like how bugs can eat crops, and that's not a good thing. So, I mean, the subliminal messaging with a children's book here, I find really funny. Like this is, your children's bedtime story about grasshoppers eating crops, but okay. So this has some amazing graphics in it, and the fact that it's from 1898 is so cool. So it says, "Don't be afraid. His playfulness denotes the fact that he's fed on grain and he sometimes feels his oats." That is the first page. You've got the clowns, the little grasshopper, and then the cool Quaker oat box. So look at that oat box. Isn't that amazing? Now, I do think that this is missing a few pages. It is really old, so it's brittle, and there are some tears to the pages, but it is just the coolest thing I've ever seen. And even though I don't like clowns, I got to say the illustrations are so cool. So there's a little grasshopper guys. If you can see them, they're in the circus. And like this guy is on I don't know what you'd call that, like the little ring thing, and this guy's on the balance ball. So they're all doing different things. And then you've got a British and American flag here in the background. It says, a perfect balance on a slender stock. You will agree this is a pretty trick. Again, some of these are just so interesting. His giant swing, a moist, surprising feat, demanding strength and care in what you eat. So some of them rhyme, some of it doesn't. It's just really cool. And you've got all of these amazing grasshopper illustrations along with the clowns and the flags in the background. It's just a really cool piece. Now, as you can see, there's some wear to it, some splits on the pages. I mean, this thing has been around the block for a while. There's the copyright date in the bottom. And this is the American Cereal Company, Froley. And this is just so cool. So this piece, because it's missing a few pages and it's got some wear to it, will only be $8. But this piece is pretty hard to come by. I did look these up, and there's not a lot of them sold. So this is apparently a fairly rare piece of advertising. I don't say that very often. So you're going to get this cool little piece that's just funky and fun for $8 by giving me number 2. $8, number 2 for the Quaker Oats Grasshopper Circus book.
So I had note takers on the emery boards. So all 3 of those little sets of emery boards matchbooks are still available. The next item is getting into the porcelain pottery stuff that I like to have, but on the advertising side, because what this is it is a little desk monument piece with the R with the crown, which stands for Regal China. And so this was a piece, and you can see right on there, it was made for July 1978. Chicago's great in 78. Well, Chicago's great all the time. We enjoyed your visit with us at Regal China. So I'm going to assume that this was some sort of an anniversary piece or something when you visited their factory, because the July 1978 is actually molded into the piece. So it's not like they would have made a new one of these every month. So this was something they made specifically in July of 1978 for some sort of special visit or trip for the Regal China factory. And so, kind of a cool little decorative piece. However, it's also a pen holder. So we've got some functional stuff. So we've got the Regal China, which I did a little bit of research on it. I couldn't actually figure out when they were founded. I think they were more known for dinnerware than anything. Are you familiar with that name, Regal? I don't really come across it all that often. So admittedly, I didn't know a lot.
No, I don't, Patrick. So this is new to me, but I think these little display pieces are just fabulous.
Absolutely. And the little crown in the R, I just think that's super cool. And I see that Catherine is the graphic designer. She's even looking at the font going, oh, that's pretty cool. So you've got the pencil holder, gold trims in absolutely perfect condition. Got the felt bottom, absolutely perfect condition. No chips, no cracks. Unique piece and functional at the same time. Advertising Regal is $10. $10 for the Regal advertising piece. $10 for, and Chad does confirm he's a reseller as well, that Regal is dinnerware. So $10 for the Regal China pen holder by giving me number 90. $10, 90 for the pen holder.
Oh, that is a really, really cool piece. Just amazing, Patrick. You don't see those things very often. In fact, I was just looking at a Fenton and Wedgwood store display that was not for sale at our local antique mall, but it was really, really cool to see. So my last item went to Lemmy Lemon. So thank you so much, Lemmy, for picking that up. Now, my next item is just cool. I found this and I was so excited about it because I love these old film canisters. There are so many possibilities with these guys. But what's even cooler about it is not only is it in its original box, it has the film canister with the film. And this is advertised to be Roy Rogers' film, which I think is so cool. Of course, he was a musician, an actor. He had the Roy Rogers show. And this is just so cool. So it says Roy Rogers. That's the title. Now, I cannot guarantee that this film itself is actually Roy Rogers, but by all the advertisements on the box and handwritten label in the back, I really do believe that it is. Now, the cool thing about this film is that you can prop this up if you have a movie room or you do some sort of display on your wall. You can hang these by the film reel because there's opening here and an opening here. So there's lots of places to hang this. And the film itself has some amazing elasticity to it. So it's not brittle. You know, a lot of times film does break and get old, but this film is stretchy and it's more pliable. So what you could do with this is put this around your Christmas tree come December next year, which is fabulous. It would make a really great garland. So this is made in Chicago, Illinois, this particular film reel. This is Comco, I believe that's the brand, out of Chicago, and it's in its tin, and it just has this amazing metal tin. So you could display the inside and then prop this up in a vignette, and then you still have the box, which is so cool. So this has a 2-digit zip code. So I do know that this is between 1948 and 1963, because that is when the 5-digit zip code came out. In 1963, they had 2-digit zip codes in, LA, New York, things like that in the 40s for large cities. So this does have the 2-digit zip code. So it's got some age to it. And it's got some really cool graphics on the back. It says protect your films, reels, and cans. And then it has a little advertisement for all of the cans and reels available in different sizes, standard and 16 millimeter sizes. And it's just got that cool red and kind of mint green, bluish green. The camera's probably not picking that up. And then you've got that cool graphic about how you can film it. Put the film into the reel. It's very easy to use. So this little canister is just the coolest thing I think I've ever come across in the way of film cans. I've never seen one in the original box. You could write things on the side here, and then someone has put Roy Rogers on the front. Now there's a little bit of wear to the top here and the sides, but again, for the age and the fact that this would be great in a little display or vignette, I just think it's the perfect amount of cool graphics, rusty, crusty, and just a really neat thing to say that you have some Roy Rogers film. So this little film canister with the box can be yours for only $10. $10 by giving me number 14. $10, number 14 for the Roy Rogers film can with the film.
So Max had a question in the chat. So he was asking if film was flammable. And I know that celluloid was combustible. So that's the idea of like spontaneously bursting into flames. I would think by the time of what you have, it's just been converted to a meltable plastic. But do you know anything about the way the films were different? Most people were saying anything's flammable if you try hard enough. But I'm just curious. I don't know at what point the true combustible celluloid got replaced with something else once we're past World War II. I don't think they were still using celluloid. No,
I don't think so. Celluloid's a very early form of plastic, and you're right, it does combust. So I don't think that this is celluloid. And I'm sure, like everyone's been saying, anything that you try hard enough to light, it will, ignite and explode. So
just try harder if it doesn't work. But yes, it'll probably melt before it bursts into flames. And I think celluloid wouldn't be as flexible. I mean, I've seen that. I've seen film like that draped as that garland on a tree. And I never would have thought to do that. And it just looked really cool. It was like a theme tree. It was really fun. Okay, so my last item, number 90, was the Regal China pen holder that went to Chad at Retro Days. So thank you so much, Chad, for picking that up. So my next one is echoing the rusty, dusty, and crusty of Katie's last item. Mine's a little bit rustier and a little bit crustier. It is a set of fork and spoon. I'm going to say it's not a salad set because that fork would do some pretty serious damage to a head of lettuce. So I think it's a meat fork and it just happens to have a spoon. They're not identical in shape, so I'm not necessarily sure they were sold or went to go as a set, but they're both from the same company. They're both engraved, let us serve you. That's what the spoon says, is let us serve you. So we have a serving spoon, and it is Klaus and Gradient. And this one, actually, I thought one of them had a patent number. Now I forgot to relook, so maybe it didn't. They're old. So this one, though, it's a bottle opener at the end. So you've got the bottle opener for the spoon, and then the fork, which, Agatha Christie would be looking for this for a weapon. This is We Appreciate Your Trade, and it is Klaus and Gradient Ice and Coal Company. So they were hot and cold. They did ice and they did coal. So you've got these great industrial. I mean, these would just look great hanging on a wall. the bottle opener would still be functional. You know, you have to want to have a big spoon hanging off the end of it. But they're great looking pieces. They are each, you know, I don't have the tape measure out, but they're longer than 11 inches, the piece of paper. So the spoon is about 11 inches. I'd say the fork is maybe 12 or 13 inches long. So you've got a pretty decent height for both of these. Again, rusty and crusty all over, with the embossed, it was molded into the metal. So we appreciate your trade. And then the Klaus and Gradient Ice and Coal Company. And I thought when I showed these to Katie, I thought I had found a patent number on these, but that might have been on something else. So I do apologize if these are marked. I'm missing it, but you can tell it's, you know, when was the last time a company sold ice? So you've got a old spoon and fork, and you get the pair for $10. So $10 for the Gradient Company spoon and fork, $10 to give me number 89. $10, 89 for the knife and spoon.
Oh my gosh, those are so cool. I've actually seen Coca-Cola pieces made in that same style. I have a bottle opener just on the other side of me that is with that same handle design. So that is just really, really cool. My last item went to Sandra Smith. So thank you so much, Sandra, for picking that up. Now we're moving away from some of the rusty crusty to just some cool glass and advertising. And this is just an amazing little bottle. I was very excited to find this because I actually have a collection of these ink bottles, and I think they're so cool. Now, this is for stamp pad ink, so this is not what you typically see for pens, but it's made by a company that also did pen ink, which is Sanford's. And this little bottle is just so cool because it has its paper label, which you don't often find these things with the paper label still intact. Now, I love the outside of this lid. It is a plastic lid, and it has these kind of Art Deco looking lines in the lid, which I just think is so cool. And then it's a hexagonal bottle, so you've got all of this fun little shape and design to it. And then on the bottom, there's a whole bunch of markings, and I got really excited by this because I always like to flip these over to see who made the glass itself. So I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but this little mark right here is actually Owens, Illinois. Now, Owens, Illinois was founded in 1919, and they had a history of mergers and things, but this is actually a Series 7 Owens, Illinois bottle, which basically tells you the bottling plant and some other information. You can see the 7 and then the A and then the 5 on the outside there. So you can go, I'll link the website down below where you can go and kind of figure out which plant this bottle was made at if you're really nerdy like I am about this stuff. But this Owens, Illinois logo dates from the 30s through the 50s. This bottle, I would say, is late 40s, early 50s. It is very, very cool. It's just got some amazing graphics on it, and it's perfect for a little shelf or vignette. It is still filled with the ink. I wouldn't use the ink necessarily anymore. In fact, I've got to figure out how I can ship this safely, and I'm sure maybe there's a violation of shipping it with the ink, but I would hate to take the ink out. But if you want the ink cleaned out, I can do that as well for you. But this is
you just have to ship it ground.
Okay, I could just ship it.
Yeah, it just can't be shipped priority mail. It can't be shipped air.
Well, that will be easy to do then. But this is just a fabulous bottle, still with the ink, great graphics. Perfect for a little display if you collect office collectibles like I do. This is great on your desk. It just makes for some really fun graphics. So this stamp pad ink bottle can be yours for only $8 by giving me number 7. $8, number 7 for the Sanford's Blue Stamp Pad ink bottle.
So if you watched one of the triptychs probably about a month or so ago, I hosted one on World's Fair items. And actually a number of the items I've got coming up tonight are examples that I showed during that triptych. And this is one of them. So what this is it is a little, I can't remember now what they called it up there, but the little geodesic dome geosphere that was the emblem for the Montreal Expo 67. So this was from the US Pavilion in Expo 67. It was compliments of Avis. So it's advertising Avis, as well as promoting the United States at the Expo. But it is a little, and you can see it's been folded over. It would be a little button tab that you would put on your, your pocket or your collar. These were fairly popular. It's got the little Union Made mark right on the top because it's very important to be, particularly at these expos, to be American Union made of what we were able to do. Political buttons a lot of time had that same sort of tab. So these were used. So somebody probably actually had this. And this is another case where I have a duplicate. I have 2 of these. So this is a case, maybe a family went, husband and wife, whatever the case, and they saved both of them, and I picked them up at an estate sale. So there is, both of them are just the white metal. It's not enameled. It's just aluminum, painted aluminum with the blue dome built into it. And they both have the same thing on the back, U.S. Pavilion, compliments of Avis. These are $5. So yes, Sam is saying it was called the Biosphere. I wasn't sure, but so $5 for the little Biosphere button, advertising Avis from the Expo 67, which was, if I remember correctly, Expo 67 was based on the 100th anniversary or the 100th celebration of Montreal. I think it was founded in 1867, so 1967 was their expo. So anyway, the little button, U.S. Pavilion from Avis, is $5. 2 of them are available by giving me number 74. 74, $5. The first 2 people will each get a button.
Those buttons are so fun, Patrick, because I love the idea of actually putting them like on a jean jacket or in one of those printer's trays. I don't know if they would fit, but they're just really fun. So that is a great homage to the triptych. Now, my next item I'm very excited about because this is a piece from 1894. I found some pretty cool antique ephemera, and I advertised this over on Instagram because this is just amazing. Look at the graphics on this. This is Dr. Harder's Valuable Information, the Dr. Harder's Medicine Company. And this booklet has some incredible graphics on it. So you've got the crescent moon, the only true iron tonic. It beautifies complexion and purifies the blood. That's just such an odd mix of things that these old medicines would do. I'm not sure I'd want to take that today because who knows what's in it. But look at the owl on the front. And then you've got this amazing girl. I mean, this is just absolutely stunning. Now, the company was founded in 1855. And this logo actually had changed. So in 1888, February 22nd of 1888, they changed the logo to this crescent moon. Now, what's interesting is I did find a old bottle, a Dr. Harder's bottle online that mentioned the date and the change of the logo on their new paper label, which I thought was very cool. But there are not many of these booklets online. In fact, most of them are missing their covers if you do find them. And the last one sold, I believe, in 2012. So this is something that I don't think you come across very often. Now, it is a big booklet, and it advertises the whole family of medicines. So they obviously, Dr. Harder's, made a ton of different tonics and elixirs and medicine for all different kinds of things. So it says, very important, if you are unable to attain Dr. Harder's medicines at your nearest store, you will forward the same on receipt of price, securely packed. No charge for packing. And so the iron tonic was $1. Soothing drops was 25 cents. Wild cherry bitters was 25. Little that's a mouthful. Little liver pills, 25 cents. Oh my gosh. Nerve pills, $2. What's in that? Female regulating pills. Some of the stuff that they made, I mean, back then is just wild. So that's really cool. You've got the price list in the front, and then it's got all kinds of like healthful hints in there. They have testimonials from people. So the nerve pills, $2 a bottle or $3 for 5, forwarded by mail in plain packaging. And then they say, let's see, they will correct bowels, relieve dyspeptic symptoms, and hasten the cure. They taste like tonic and will not interfere with the action of nerve pills. So some of these things are just wild. And then it says, if you have a weak stomach, you are a victim of dyspepsia. I'm sure I'm not saying that right. And then it says, take the iron tonic. So there's all kinds of cool graphics, testimonials. Look at that bottle. Isn't that amazing? The graphics, this is just so cool. And I got to say, this will be a fun read because I'd love to know, like, you know, here's the don'ts page. So it's very interesting. Don't for parents. Don't neglect a slight ailment. Don't forget to teach patriotism in the cradle. Oh boy. Don't forget to own a Bible and American flag. I mean, all of these don'ts from back then is just wild to read. So I would definitely have fun going through this. To young, middle-aged, and old. Oh, this is interesting. That page there. So there's all kinds of things with cool graphics. This is just an amazing booklet. It does have a little bit of wear here on the side and around the top. But I mean, you know, for something that is from 1894, this is just pretty amazing. And the condition is amazing to me for the fact that it's that old, because the pages, I mean, from all that I've seen in here, there's no staining. There's a little bit of tearing at the top, but guys, that's about it. So this is pretty amazing. Great for your ephemerables, your displays, your vignettes. And this booklet can be yours for only $20 by giving me number 3. $20, number 3, for the amazing Dr. Harder's book.
That should be in like an ephemeral all by itself. That's just a beautiful piece, and I love stuff like that. Quite kind of like almost getting into the snake oil huckster medicine stuff. So that's fun. Going back to the Rusty, Crusty, and Dusty, I've got something pretty rusty, pretty crusty, and, you know, if I blow on it hard enough, probably a little dusty. This is, as it is fairly obviously shown, it is a Black Flag, well, it says Black Flag continuous sprayer. So Black Flag insect spray kills mosquitoes, flies, moths, roaches, ants, bed bugs, and fleas. So this is originally distributed from New Jersey, Chicago, Los Angeles, and someplace in Georgia. None of them have zip codes. I would assume these are all good. This is going to be earlier than 1948. There's different variations of these. Sometimes they've got a glass vial here, but those were designed, then you bought them differently. This one was, I guess, kind of designed to be disposable because you would buy the entire unit again. This does unscrew, so I guess you could just replace this, but it's got advertising all over it. And if you follow my Instagram channel, about 3 weeks ago, every once in a while, if I'm watching a movie, I will post Vintage in the Wild. You know, if I see something cool on TV or on a movie, I'll take a picture of my screen. And I actually was watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and there was one of these sitting in the kitchen.
Cool.
And so I posted that, like, I'm going to sell one of those. So here it is. So this is what I'm going to sell, the Black Flag continuous sprayer. It does sit upright, so it would be a great display piece, you know, great conversation piece. You know, don't think you necessarily want it in your kitchen, but hey, if you don't want your guests to stay for very long, put that right next to your stove. So you've got this cool little Black Flag continuous sprayer. It is all about advertising, and it's all rusty.
Great for Halloween.
There you go. And it's $15. So $15 for the Black Flag sprayer, $15 by giving me number 67. $15, 67 for Black Flag.
That is just the coolest piece, Patrick. I've seen people do all kinds of creative things with those for Halloween, and I love the Black Flag graphic. Great all year round, too, but awesome for Halloween. And I'm going to match Patrick's orange, Rusty and Crusty, because I have an amazing advertising piece from 1930 with some really, really cool graphics on it. This piece is a snowproof tin, and this is for leather, and what it does is it softens, preserves, and waterproofs leather goods. Now, this tin has the amazing little horseshoe on the side with the moon and the clover, so you can actually put this out for St. Patrick's Day. Even though it's orange, it has that clover and horseshoes for good luck. It's just got some really cool graphics going around the outside of the tin. And I just absolutely adore this piece. Now, this one is the one from 1930. It's got the same really cool logo, nice and big on the top. Got a little bit of rust and crust there, which we all love with these old advertising pieces. There are different ones. There's one with a barcode. Well, barcodes didn't come out until 1973. So this is not the one with the barcode from the 70s. They made this product a long time. And this is not the one from the 50s. Or the earlier one with the different marks. So this is, in fact, the 1930s one. It's just got some amazing graphics on the back, and it's got wonderful text and font going around the outside. It says for fine leather goods such as dress shoes, leather coats, luggage, work gloves, golf bags, athletic equipment, etc. Use freely as required after snowproof is absorbed. Polish with any good leather polish. And on the inside, it still has some of the snowproof. And boy, does that smell strong. So this stuff must have really worked back in the day. I actually have a leather proofing product now that does the same thing that actually waterproofs my shoes, which is fabulous. So I wouldn't recommend using this, but maybe putting it next to your little shoe collection would be kind of fun. So this 1930s snowproof tin can be yours for only $12. Got some amazing graphics on it by giving me number 5. $12, number 5 for the snowproof tin with that horseshoe and clover.
All right, got another item where I actually have a duplicate. I thought this was super fun. So this is actually an advertising piece for Red Cross shoes. And it says on here, beauty begins with a youthful step. So they initially, I don't want to show you what they are yet, so I'm going to flip it around. So you got the Red Cross shoes featured by Hartman Shoe Store. So the store was based in Park Ridge. Red Cross shoes originated out of Cincinnati, and they were the number one shoe brand in the 30s. So I'm not sure how old this is. I'm thinking that this probably is getting to maybe the 50s, but could be a little bit earlier, because what it is, and you can see it there right at the bottom, they are lipstick tissues. And one of them has the lipstick mark still on it.
Oh, that's so cool.
So look youthful, feel youthful, walk youthfully in glorious, perfect fitting Red Cross shoes. Okay, so I do have 2 of these. Admittedly, only one has the lipstick mark on the front, but both of them still have all the little tissue papers still in there. So you blot your lipstick, tear off a tissue, and then just put this back in your purse and be ready for the next time you need to apply and then dab off your lipstick. So graphics wise, I'm thinking, what would you say? I'm thinking maybe getting into the 50s, although it could be 40s.
I would say probably 40s or 50s on that piece.
So it's just this beautiful little piece. They're both pretty much in the same condition, but because only one of them has the actual lipstick mark, I'm not going to recreate it for the second one. The first person to claim will get the one with the lipstick mark. The second person will just get the other one, but they both have all the papers in there. This one has that bright pink lipstick, and I'm not even sure how necessarily that's vintage. That could have been something somebody did much later, but it's another, I didn't even purposely come across all these little matchbook style things, but it's another matchbook that is not a matchbook. It is a lipstick tissue container, and the first 2 people to get the lipstick, to give me the number, for $6, the first 2 people will get their lipsticks. First one will get the one with the red with the actual lipstick stain. $6, number 75. $6.75 for the Red Cross lipstick tissues.
Oh man, Patrick, that is really fun. I love that it was actually used. That adds to its character. Now, my next item, admittedly, I don't know much about it. I did tons of research. I even had help from other folks in the vintage community, and nobody really seemed to know what era this was or anything about it. But I did do some translating, and what I have is a bottle label. Now, this is for some sort of liquor. It is Dutch. That's what I did figure out. But I have no clue anything else about it. I could not figure out what liquor it was for. There weren't very many of these online. I couldn't find a bottle with it. So I'm not 100% sure. But this just has some incredible graphics. It's gold, blue, and white. It is a paper bottle label for a liquor. I'm assuming that this has some age to it. I don't think that this is a modern label. It is for a distillery, and I'm gonna not say this correctly because I do not speak Dutch, but I did do some translating through the Google Translate, and I'm gonna try to pronounce it now. It's Desmet Martins, I believe is what the translator told me, and they were founded in 1895. So the graphics on this is just amazing. Now you can have this framed if you wanted to. I think that it's a little too wobbly to sit up in a flower frog. However, if you put it behind something like this, in this amazing sleeve. It would be great for a flower frog. This is just something really amazing, and I don't come across these bottle labels very often, and I thought this one was absolutely stunning. You can see how that gold really shimmers. So if you guys know anything about this, or Patrick, if you know anything more than I do, let me know, because I'm fascinated by this piece, and I just think it's so cool. So you can have your own fun treasure research hunt if you buy this and you find out more than I do. So this Dutch bottle label is going to be only $12. $12 by giving me number 10. $12, number 10 for the amazing bottle label.
Jeannie was saying that would look gorgeous framed, and that is something I'm actually going to try change things up a little bit next year, and I'm going to drift into, instead of selling the advertising and some of the pieces individually, I'm going to try and mount them onto pre-sized matting boards so that they're more suitable or a little bit easier to frame. So we'll see, because I agree that would be beautiful on a backing board. So it looks like you had to take her to that. I had to take her to my black flag sprayer. Didn't announce that went to Vintage Peep Show. So thank you so much, Margot, for picking that up. And the lipstick tissues, the lipstick stained one goes to Catherine, and Angela gets the second one. Dear Angela's Vintage gets the second one. She plays her cards right. We'll see if I recreate the lipstick stain. All right. So the next item I actually pulled this off of my eBay channel because I wanted to have something like this for the sale, because it is, by its own definition, an advertising piece. It is a bar decor piece advertising pick flowers and brewmaster. So you've got a pirate with a large, very large stein of beer, and it is Carlton ware. So it's made in England, trademarked, marked as Carlton ware. Admittedly, I am not familiar with the brand or the look, but it is something that sells quite a bit in England. I found a lot of comps. So then to get it here, the shipping was relatively high. So it's currently on my eBay channel or my eBay store for 30, but I am going to sell him here for 20. So $20 for, and it's simply a statuary piece, man cave, she shed, bar, whatever you want. If you want to recreate the Pirates of the Caribbean, knock yourself out. It is a piece of Carlton ware for $20, perfect condition, no chips, no cracks, great looking piece for $20. $20 by giving me number 66. $20, 66 for the Carlton ware.
That is such a cool piece, Patrick, for your bar. I really love the idea of doing things where you're decorating your bar and adding some more whimsical pieces in. Now, speaking of whimsical, my next item is just so fun. This is something I've really never come across in a while, but I do know people collect these. If you follow Lacey Faye, the vintage girl next door, or any of those wonderful people on Instagram that dress up like 1950s pinups or 50s housewives, they always have an amazing collection of vintage beauty items or bathroom items. And I found this and I thought this is just so cool. So what this is actually a vintage curling iron. It's from Marroll Electric Roller Curler. And I never had a curling iron, but I do remember having those curling sets in my hair, the hot rollers, and those things burned. But this is probably a little bit easier to use than those things. So this has an amazing graphic of a woman curling her hair. This does have a 1-digit zip code on the back. So I do believe that this is from 1948 through 1963, but I'm leaning more on the 40s era of this just based on its color and font and graphics. Now, what's cool about this is this actually does work, and it has a pink curler inside, and it comes with all of its parts. So I tested this. It got nice and hot, so you actually can use this. It says on the side that it's made in USA, and it's got its patent number right there. And then, of course, it has an amazing pink handle. The cord is in fabulous condition. There's no brittleness to the cord at all, no breaking. The plug is actually really nice, so you could still use this if you wanted to. And if you have a YouTube channel and you want to do like a 1950s housewife video or pinup video, I think this would be great to use in your video. It has all of its pieces. So what these are is you slide this piece, the round part, into here, and it locks like this, and then you actually wrap your hair around this piece. So there's different widths based on what you want to curl, like how much you want to curl. So you've got small, medium, and then large. So I'll show you all three. So you could have some really big curls or really nice small curls, and it has all of its pieces. They fit nicely into this box, so it's great for storage. There's little cutouts in the box that I'll show you here where the curling iron and all of these pieces go. And then it's got the directions on the back. There is no damage to the handle, no chipping on the wood. It's still got its UL paper label. It's just such a cool piece, and the fact that it works. I mean, this is definitely just a fun piece. And if you don't want to use it, you could still display it in your bathroom, because you could prop it up in the box, you know, like this, or put it on a shelf. It's just super amazing. And it's got amazing graphics on the front too. The box does have a little bit of wear to it due to age, but there's no splitting on the box. It's just some rough edges where it's been well loved and probably used. And then it's got all of its information and guarantee on the back. So this vintage curling iron, I did do some research on, and they sell anywhere from around $25 to $30. So I am going to give this to you for a nice price of only $18 for this amazing piece. And you can have it by giving me number 13. So $18, number 13, for the amazing Marroll electric roller curler. Patrick, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I dropped something. I meant I muted myself to pick it up. I forgot. So number 66, my last item went, the Pick Flowers Brewmaster went to Logan at Vintique Scavenger. So thanks so much, Logan, for picking that up. Another fellow Illinois. I don't know if you're getting the snow that we got, but the next item I have, Katie will probably recognize, because I sent some of these to her in a box I gave her for Christmas. And they are these little tobacco coupons. So they're from, I believe it was Raleigh Tobacco, and it was one B&W coupon. And you could redeem these coupons for valuable gifts from the Brown and Williamson Premium Plan. So you get famous B&W coupons at every package of Raleigh and Bel Air cigarettes. So these are coupons that you got from the cigarettes. They do have a five-digit zip code on here. So these are dated after 1963. Probably, I think Katie said when she looked at them, she thought maybe 70s, late 60s or 70s. Yep. They do have different series. So I tried to, and this is another case where I actually have two sets of these. So I've got sets from series 24, and then they also include series 22 and series 20. So I don't know if they did it over time, how often they did a series, but they were all just one coupon, and they all have similar graphics, except this one actually kind of also has the cool, got the little Raleigh dude in the backdrop as the watermark. And
he's awesome.
And so then the mark of quality in tobacco products, B&W. So this is a set of both. I have two sets. Both of them are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what I thought. 7 of these little coupons. You get 7 of these, would look great scattered in a little ephemera bowl. You can prop them up in a little wire flower frog. Just cool little pieces. I could, frame them as a backdrop to a tobacco label. You could kind of like lay them all next to each other. And you've got a little backer board of your own. So you've got 7 of these, and you get the set of 7. The first 2 people that give me the number for $5, each person will get a set of 7 coupons for $5 by giving me number 52. 52, $5 for a set of 7 of the tobacco coupons.
And those are really cool. I put mine in a vintage flower frog, and they just look awesome on my wire spool table. And I see lots of people mentioning how stylish your hat is, Patrick, and you are looking very dapper tonight.
Well, when I'm on Katie's channel, I've got it down my hat, and I even got my trunk down elephant that she and I have a match set. So
yay! We gotta save those trunk down elephants.
You were getting compliments on your brooch too, and I don't think you highlighted your brooch.
No, I haven't. So this is a fabulous brooch. It is a wonderful piece made out of pot metal, but each piece is riveted in, It has all of the amazing prong set stones, and I forgot the maker, but this is signed, and it's a really wonderful maker and a nice size. So it's comparable to like a Weiss. So I was really excited to find this recently. Now, my last item first, before I go into the next item, went to Margot Vintage Peep Show. So thank you so much. You're going to love that curling iron. It's just perfect for you. And my next item is really cool. I advertised this over on Instagram, and I've never found a Victorian trade card in the wild, but I was really excited to find this one. And this is an 1888 Dixon stove polish Victorian trade card with some amazing graphics. Now, Victorian trade cards originated in England in the 1700s as a way for advertising men to trade and advertise their wares. Now, of course, in 1870, with the invention of lithography, and they were able to do more mass colored pieces, you got a lot more of these. So this piece is just really cool because it has these pixies on it now, or brownies. You might say they're brownies. Brownies or pixies. I'm not 100% sure the difference, but I just think these are so cool. Now, a lot of people were commenting over on Instagram when I posted this that these might be Palmer Cox brownies. Now, he was known for designing brownies, much like we see Rose O'Neill Kewpies. It's kind of similar. He was famed for that particular design. And when I did do some research on Robert Cox, or Palmer Cox rather, I do think that these match his style of brownies. So I cannot be 100% sure because I could not find this particular trade card at all anywhere. But I do believe that they look very similar. So I can't 100% guarantee that they're Palmer Cox brownies, but I'm pretty sure that they're very close because the styling just looks very similar. So you've got a copyright date on the bottom of 1888. This is Dixon stove polish. You got the little brownies carrying the box. Now, of course, all of the Palmer Cox brownies and things he designed, he was really well known for doing these kind of whimsical scenes where the brownies were actively doing something in their advertising. So they were carrying like a box of product or like cleaning something or doing something. So it's just sort of whimsical. And then on the back, there's some really cool advertisement for the Dixon's stove polish box. 61 years on the market, the oldest, best, size doubled, quality the same. Now, this does have some wear to it, but you have to consider that this is from 1888. So it has been around the block for a long time. And it just is amazing that there is even something like this still around today in such amazing condition for its age. Now, it does, like I said, have wear, but when you consider its age, it's just amazing. It does have this really cool old Victorian hand symbol at the bottom. Ask your dealer for the big cake, Dixon's Crucible Company out of Jersey City, New York. Jersey City. I can't read backwards on the camera. Jersey City, New Jersey. Goodness gracious. And this just is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. You will get the acid-free backing to protect it on the back and its own sleeve. And it's just really, really cool. So this piece with possible Palmer Cox brownies can be yours for only $12. $12 for the Victorian trade card by giving me number one. $12, number one for the Victorian trade card.
All right. The next item I picked up pretty early on, specifically because we knew we were going to be doing an advertising theme sale. So when I came across a book of 19th century advertising, like, well, what could be a better place to sell it than at an advertising sale? So we've got this book that was printed. It's copyrighted 1960 by the Americana Review, but the Americana Review does have a 5-digit zip code. So it has to be after 1963. So it's probably from the 60s. They just didn't change the copyright when they reprinted this one. So this is American Advertising from 1800 to 1900. And literally all it is an entire booklet of examples of advertising from the 19th century. And there's some great graphics. There are some great fonts. And then they try and tell information. So without a good typographer, the advertiser is lost. We suppose that the first line of copy was intended to read Robert Wilson Saddler, then collar, trunk, and harness maker. The woodcut is excellent for its time. So you've got, that information, again, the typesetter was he a saddler or was he selling, exactly how, just what the description is. There's some advancements in advertising. So in 1850, a new day dawned in the world of advertising. Someone had the idea designed to give the reader something in return for his time. So you've got, different pieces of information built up. Just again, some great, fantastic graphics that are put into this, and just simply advertising what advertisements looked like. Hippo, anyone? In the 1800s. So this was actually an advertisement for the Barnum's American Museum. So just some cool pieces in here. It's a case that it's neat in and of itself, but I considered keeping this and actually hacking this apart and trying to mount these individual pieces, because I think some of these would look fantastic framed. So I am not going to do that. I'm going to sell this to someone else who may choose to do that, or may choose to use this as a little reference book for, how much better our advertising is now, but still get some ideas as you go through. Just some of the way the woodcuts, just the woodcuts themselves, are just beautifully done and reproduced in this little pamphlet. So it is a 1960s edition of a pamphlet promoting 1800s advertising, and it is available for $5. So $5 for the 19th century advertising booklet, $5 by giving me number 70. $5, number 70 for American advertising.
Oh, that is very cool, Patrick. And I agree with you. Our advertising now is just so sad compared to what we had back in the day. Just the way that they took all the extra time to put in the detail and make those fonts really stand out. Just incredible. Now, my next item, or I should say first, my last item went to Catherine Young. So thank you so much, Catherine, for picking up that 1888 Victorian trade card. My next item, we're kind of moving away from the ephemera to something rusty crusty. Now, I have a big collection of tobacco tins. I've been collecting for a while, and I always love these little mini Edgeworth tins. I always pick them up when I find them because I just think the graphics on these are stunning. This is Edgeworth Extra High Grade Plug Slice Smoking Tobacco. And this piece is really cool because it has remnants of its tax stamp. Now, if you followed the triptych, or rather the duodive I did on these little tobacco tins, I taught you how to date tax stamps. And tobacco tins are pretty hard to date, but I was able to look up this one, and it's missing most of its stamp. But this is a series 100 tax stamp. Now, what that means is that tax stamp, that design, started in 1930. And I did find others online. Of course, these were made for quite a while, but I did find others online with the tax stamp still on it. So I would date this to around 1950 or so, based on the other tax stamps I was seeing. Of course, this one, since some of its tax stamp is gone, it could be a little bit earlier, but this series started in 1930. And then I believe ended in the 60s. So this piece is just really fabulous. It's got some great graphics. There is a little rusty crusty, but we all love that look. And these are just so fun because if you have a vignette or a display and you need a little pop of color, or you need something fun to kind of mix in with your glass to add a little bit more of that fun, little rusty crusty look, this just sits really, really well with some of your other collections. It mixes right in, and it's got some cool graphics. Now, of course, this inside tin has some cool graphics as well. So you could display it open like this. And if you lined it with something, you could probably use this to carry something around in your pocketbook, or, you can put all kinds of things in this. It's just a great little tin. This is manufactured by the American Can Company. Now, the American Can Company started in 1900. I believe they bought out the Colony Can Company. So this piece has got the American Can Company stamp, which I always, always, always love finding things with that American Can Company logo, because they also made some of the typewriter tins. So anyway, this little tin can be yours for only $8, a great starter piece for your Tobacciana collection, by giving me number 6. $8, number 6, for the Edgeworth Plug Slice tin.
All right, so my last item, number 70, the advertising book went to Jennifer Miller. So congratulations to Jennifer for picking that up. I did not have this in my hand as the next item to sell, but when Katie mentioned that she was selling something made by the American Can Company, this came out of the stack, because this is advertising the American Can Company. It is a book, bank. It is another example that I had pulled and I had for my World's Fair collection that I did the triptych on. This is from the Century of Progress, which was the 1933-1934 Chicago World's Fair. So this one, it says right on there, Chicago 34. So they made this over a period of time. This one was manufactured by the American Can Company in 1934 while the fair was still going. And you can see there's some great colors and some fantastic graphics of the different buildings of the fair. So it's not trying to be the skyline of Chicago at the time. These were buildings that were actually made specifically for the fair, including that aerial ride there, the colonnade, all of that. I think that was the transportation building, just some fantastic graphics. The top of it definitely has some patina to it. It's definitely getting into the rusty and crusty, and you can see through it as a bank. Unfortunately, the bottom of the bank is missing, which of course has an impact on its value. I had picked this up and originally for my own collection, and then I ended up finding one with a bottom to it. So I'm now selling the one that does not have the bottom and pricing it accordingly. So you've got the American Can Company, so a piece of advertising a can made by the American Can Company, but from the 1933 Chicago World's Fair. And look, a little dirigible and everything right there in the sky. Oh, an airplane too. So you've got the can or the bank without a bottom, but it looks no worse for its wear. It looked great on the shelf. And you can probably find an interchangeable. These bank styles were actually manufactured across all different advertising pieces. You can probably find an interchangeable if you decide you want to actually use it as a bank. But I think it's a cool little shelf sitter, little riser for other things. And it's a great, not quite deco because we're in the early 30s, but you're moving from the deco to the moderne. And those colors are just fantastic. And still, even with the patina on the top, the colors are still some great conditions on the side. So the bottomless bank is available for $10 for the American Can Company bank, $10, number 81. $10.81 for the World's Fair bank from 1934.
Oh gosh, Patrick, that is fantastic. The American Can Company did make cans primarily. And of course, any of the leftover metals that were used when they didn't stamp the cans, they were used to make some of the other pieces like typewriter ribbon tins. So that is just such a cool piece. Now, my next item that I have for you is really fun. This is an ink blotter, and I'm not used to finding ink blotters like this very often because this actually has multiple ink blotters. And it has a cool little plastic cover. So I've actually never seen this style of ink blotter before. Now, if you're wondering what an ink blotter is, an ink blotter basically is used to blot or wipe your excess ink off of your fountain pens. Or if you had like a letter, you could put this down on the letter after you've written it and press it down. And it kind of removes some of that excess ink. And these are just so cool. Now, this is a Frieden ink blotter, and I'm probably not pronouncing their company correctly, but they were a company that manufactured typewriters in 1934. So they started in 1934 by Carl Frieden, and then they moved on to mechanical calculators later on in the 70s. So this piece is really, really cool. And it's just an amazing thing that you don't find often in good condition. So you got a little bit of wear here where someone has used it as an ink blotter. And then the pages are pretty much open. So you could keep this as a practical ink blotter if you still use a fountain pen. You could put this in a flower frog, or what I thought would be cool, and I kind of hate to see this done to something like this, but you could actually junk journal with it if you wanted to, because there are blank pages. So you could put like some stamps or some other cool things. It's just a really unique piece. Now, I am guessing there's no copyright date on this, but from what I can find and based on the company's history, I would say that this is probably 40s or 50s era. And I'm sure that there is a book that features just adding machines, so you could actually look up when this particular adding calculator was made. But it's so cool. It says the aristocrat of calculators, and you've got the lions on the side. Really amazing, amazing graphics, and just an unusual form of an ink blotter. So you can have this for only $15, this ink blotter, by giving me number 4. $15, number 4 for the Frieden automatic calculator ink blotter.
So my last item from the 1933 World's Fair went to Dear Angela's Vintage. So that is staying in the Chicagoland area. My next item, also picked these up knowing that we were going to be doing an advertising sale. I decided to give these a try. This was one of those cases. And again, I did not intend to have a bunch of Matchbook stuff tonight, but Matchbooks are pretty good when you're talking about advertising. So what I found was, and I showed these in a video, but what I found, we'll start with the reverse side. These little 3x5 cards, and they've been printed in bulk and then written on. So this one is saying it's Food Town Supermarket. When I did the video, I thought that said Sugar Market. So, but it makes a lot more sense that it says it's a supermarket. No etching, number of colors, 20 up. What is, sent to factory, return to art department. What exactly is this saying? What these are, and I have a stack of these. So this is another multiples situation. We've got a 3x5 card that would have been from the printing and design company that made Matchbook covers. And this one is the Matchbook cover for Food Town in Flagstaff, Arizona. And it was saying that there was no etching and only one color. I don't exactly know what 20 up Ajax S1360 would mean. Maybe that's the shape or the size, who knows. But the one color is indicating that the paper, you can see here on the side that the paper it's printed on is the white color. So that runs throughout it. And then they only printed one color onto it, which is this dark brown. Yeah, I'm going to go with the dark brown. I don't think it's quite black. And so what this was it was the proof that was sent to the factory in 1959 and then returned to the art department as an approved, for approval. So the instructions were sent, the factory made it, stapled the sample onto it. And then I found hundreds of these. I did not pick up all of them. I went through and found all the older ones and the ones that kind of had some cool. Oh, that's cool. So the Food Town did, or the company that made these? So I'm not actually sure. The company that made it was the Diamond Match Company. Actually, so the Diamond Match Company in Chico, California, but these, 20 ups would be 22 a page. Okay, that makes sense. See, we're learning stuff together. I actually had not paid attention. It says on here that this is from the Diamond Match Company in Chico, California. So, but these were all found in a location in Minnesota. So I think the art was designed maybe someplace else by a company that specialized it, but it was printed, and it makes sense. It'd be printed in California because they were shipping it to Arizona. So that's actually interesting. I had not caught on to that. So anyway, so what I have is a batch of 8. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this grab bag style. And I'll just show you the ones I've got. So I've got Food Town. I've got Elliot's Chuck Wagon. I've got the Golden Pheasant at Broadway and Lawrence with free parking. American and Cantonese cuisine. Don't even know what city we're in. Let's see. We've got Golden Steer Motor Hotel. Nothing says quality like a big cow in front of your room. The Elbow Beach Surf Club in Bermuda.
Oh, that's cool.
Beautiful graphics on that one. So this one was listed as 3 color because you've got the gold, the red, and the black. So you've got Oceanside Hotel and Surf Club. The Cocktail Lounge and Bar of the Embassy Club in Omaha, Nebraska. Frenchie's of Milwaukee with its AAA rating. And the last was my favorite, Flamingo Lanes, the bowling alley.
Oh, that's so cool.
With restaurant. Automatic pin setters. So we've got so the dates on all of these, Jacqueline, they're all from between 1959 and 1962, I think is the latest that I picked up. No, I've got a 63. The Elbow Beach Club, that's actually 1963. Then a 62, a 62, a 59, 59, 60, 59, and 59. I was trying to stay in the 59s, but then I found a couple really cool graphics that moved me into the 60s. So the way I'm going to sell these, just to keep things simple, is it's going to be a grab bag. You're going to get 2 of them for $5. So 2, there'll be random 2. They're all fun. You're going to get a random 2 for $5 for the pair. And the first 4 people that give the number. So I have a total of 8. And if you want more than one, you just have to enter the number and then try and enter the number again. If you want to be the first 4 people that were trying to claim it, you'll just get a random 2. There are no duplicates. So if you do want more than one set and are successful, you're not going to get any duplicates because those are the 8 that I have. So the $5 for a pair, the first 4 people that claim with number 69. $5, number 69 for the Matchbook art approval cards.
Oh my gosh, Patrick, how cool are those? Just love the graphics on some of those. So we're moving away from cool graphics to still cool graphics, but something a little bit more whimsical and comical. So when I was looking for this sale, I came across this bizarre cookbook, and I knew that I had to grab it for the sale because it's an advertising piece for the Brazil Nut Association. So I've never seen anything quite like it. And his little face just made me chuckle. This is a Brazil nut with a wonderful face. This is so comical. He's saluting you. And it says, with compliments of the Colonel Nut of Brazil, Brazil Nut Association. So you could actually find copies for your friends and write to the Brazil Nut Association. Now, this does have a 2-digit zip code, so I would date this in the 40s and 50s. There is no copyright date on it, so just based off of that zip code there, that does give us a little bit of idea of age. Now, this is the Parade of Brazil Nut Recipes. This is just so cool. Look at the graphics on this. And aren't these little guys so funny? They're just marching in a line. They've got their little muskets there. They got the little hats. I just found this comical. And of course, the graphics inside are fun. So you could actually cook some of these, but I don't know how delicious any of these recipes would be because they're featuring Brazil nuts. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, nuts belong in things like dishes by themselves, not in casseroles or food necessarily, or particularly desserts. But anyway, you can have a whole slew of fun Brazil nut recipes to try, or just a neat, fun piece in your kitchen that people come in and are like, Brazil nuts? What in the world? So it says, farm soup to nuts, Brazil nuts appear on the menu. And they tell you how to blanch Brazil nuts, slice Brazil nuts, a hint about shelling Brazil nuts. So everything you need to know about Brazil nuts. And of course, you guys can now drink for every time I say Brazil nuts. You got Brazil nut appetizers, Brazil nut pinwheels, nutty canap, spiked cheese nuts. What's in that? Let's see. Cream cheese, horseradish, moisten 2 teaspoons of capers, roll in ground or chopped Brazil nuts. I guess they're spiked because of the nuts. I would assume they would have had some alcohol in them, but apparently not. But they've got cheese, so they can't be that bad. Brazilian cheese straws. Ooh, now I love cheese straws, so I don't know. Maybe I'll change my tune. The main course of Brazil nuts. It calls for Brazil nuts, and it says, how your holiday bird, Brazil nut stuffing. So for your holiday bird. Look at that, Brazil nuts in the holiday turkey. Oh my gosh, that's just hilarious. And then you have mushroom with Brazil nut stuffing. Now, that actually might be okay. That looks pretty good. You've got mushrooms, butter, onion, breadcrumbs, Brazil nuts, tomato ketchup, lemon juice, bacon, and cream. So that actually sounds pretty good. And then you have, let's see, cauliflower Brazil nut sauce. Now, I don't know about all that, but that's an interesting picture. And then you have, oh, now this one, I got to have something with Jello. Jellied cheese ring. This one has 2 tablespoons of gelatin, a half a cup of cold water, scalded milk, egg yolks, salt, mustard, paprika, grated cheese, and Brazil nuts. Eek, I don't know about that jellied cheese ring, but I will say some of these actually do look good. I think there's the cheese thing, or maybe this one's jellied veal loaf with Brazil nuts. The things are endless. Now, here's where it gets fun because there are pastries. So if you are a nut person in chocolate or desserts, this book then will be for you because you can skip past all those funky recipes unless you just really want to try them and actually make something good. So we got Brazil strawberry chiffon pie. Ooh, that actually looks good. even though I'm not a nut person and sweet, I have to say that looks pretty good. Brown Betty with Brazil nuts, Brazil chocolate souffle, Brazil nut spongette, Brazil nut cranberry pudding. And then look, you can make breads. So if you're just getting into learning breads, man, you could learn breads. And then you got some interesting things: Brazilian lace cookies, sand tarts, Brazilian nut macaroons, and butterscotch cookies. So actually, that looks pretty good in my opinion. Yum yum. So all you need to know about Brazil nuts and the Brazil nut kernel is right in this book. And you can have this fun little whimsical piece of Brazil nut advertising to display in your kitchen for only $5. So $5 for the 1940s, 50s Brazil nut recipe book by giving me number 11. $5, number 11 for the Brazil nut recipe book. Just so whimsical and fun.
Sorry, having a little technical difficulty, so I'm glad that you showed the recipe book for so long because I couldn't get back in. We are all good. All right, so my last item, the set of matchbooks, actually Blue Flamingo Mercantile was successful in claiming 2 of those sets. And then Jacqueline Heirloom Vintage and Collectibles and Susan Houghton picked up the other 2. So I'm glad that those were, and there were many others that were trying. So I appreciate the popularity of those. I thought those were fun. I'm glad you liked them too.
And Patrick, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Susan Houghton did get my number 6. So Susan, congratulations to you.
Congratulations, Susan. All right, my next item, this one I had to lean on Katie quite a bit to get additional information on because she has a collection of these. So she helped me out quite a bit. I was able to pick up, and I actually have a few of them. I'm only selling one here tonight. This is a watch tin or watch parts tin. So this is from the American Walter Watch Company, Waltham Watch Company. This was size 12, nickel 17 jewels for a hunting case style. So this was would have been for a pocket watch. And it's this beautiful little brass box that has it actually locks into place. I just had it preset so it was easy to get off. That when you open it up, there's a cool little graphic inside that I'm not sure if this is just supposed to be sitting in the lid or if this is actually what the things that Katie thought was possible was there's this little piece that pops out. And she was wondering if maybe this was designed to hold, once it was closed, this was designed to hold little pieces in here. Because again, the style of what this was for, I'm not 100% sure. So
it's for jewels.
Well, 17 jewels would be the type of watch, but I don't know what would it be because all of the gears would have jewels on them as well, as well as some of the pins. So I know the hunting would refer to the hunting case of a pocket watch. So I know that this was for a pocket watch, and being in brass, I thought this looked a little older, and definitely the font and the information on here makes this look pretty old, but I don't know the date on these. So this one is the only one I'm selling tonight. It has the little separate piece that just sits in here, and you can see it's only about half the height. So not 100%. And Katie wasn't familiar with that either. I think, did you say, Katie, you actually didn't have any that had this extra piece?
No, see, I don't have any with the extra piece. I have the little tiny sample tins and then the larger mainspring tins. I'm not too familiar with these. And yeah, the jewels would have gone inside the watch. So I don't think those would have carried just the jewels. So maybe the parts. But I know that they're all put on separately when you build a watch. So I'm not 100% sure. But that's just a really unique tin.
And you could see just by the handwriting. I mean, this... I don't know if this actually would go all the way back to the turn of the century, but I would say I would think pre-World War I, definitely pre-World War II, because we're also dealing with the like I said, the hunting aspect of it. We're dealing with pocket watches, and those fell out of favor pretty much after the Depression. So I'm not sure if there's anything. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. This was one of the ones that I forgot. There is a patent on this one. Yes, yell at me, Peterson. I don't have my cheaters on. Hold on. $1896. So we have at least the box is from the late 19th century. This is probably from early 20th century. It's just a cool little piece. It's, a little bit of rusty, a little bit of crusty, a little bit of dusty, but so cool and absolutely functional, because once you can see there's these little grooves on the side. You can actually see there's the patent date as well. But there's these little grooves that the lid, when you push it in, you then turn it, and that's what locks it into place. So you actually have a functional little box. I don't know if you want to put your pills in there because you want to clean it up really, really well, but you could put a lot of other stuff in there, and it just makes a very cool comment. And I'm being told to read Nate's comment, but Nate's comment is "Hello, Glenda Torres." So, I don't know.
These bits of paper were slipped into the case of the pocket watch when it was repaired. Some old pocket watches have several on the back of them.
Oh, cool. So for whatever reason, I guess there's only one piece left, or when the person who had it, they just wanted one piece. So that was what that piece of paper was for the hunting, again, for the hunting watch. Royal. I don't know about the royal hunting. I don't know if that was a different type of watch. But that would be, you've got an antique watch tin, and you can have it for $12. So $12 for the American Waltham Watch Company antique tin, $12 by giving me number 87. $12.87 for the tin.
Those are just so cool, Patrick. And like I said, I've never seen that particular style of tin. So I couldn't find much information on it, but I'd love to learn more, because those are just so, so cool. Now, my last item, the Brazil Nut Cookbook, went to Margot Vintage Peep Show. So thank you so much for picking that guy up. And my next fun piece is a little typewriter lot. Now, you guys know I collect my typewriter ribbon tins. So I'm actually going to let one go and share it with you. I was really excited to find another one of the Webster tins. Now, I already have several of these tins in different versions. And I found another one for the sale, which I was really excited about, because you don't find the ones with the lidded hinged box as often as you do some of the other styles. And there's an even taller tin, which is earlier, that's a little bit harder to find as well. So I was really excited to get this piece. So you're going to get a little lot here. So the first thing you're going to get is this Webster typewriter ribbon tin with the cool star graphics, star brand non-filling typewriter ribbons from the F.S. Webster Company out of Boston, Massachusetts. It's got some great graphics with just the perfect amount of rusty crusty. It's not too worn, but there is a little bit of a wear to it. And it's got the inking degrees on the back, extra light, light, medium, heavy. So some just cool graphics. Now, this is advertising that this would have gone on Underwood 1/2-inch black typewriters, but they actually did make a Webster typewriter, which is the second part of this fun lot. Now, this little tin here, usually you can find on the sides that they're marked by the company that made the tin. Not always, but sometimes. I couldn't find any marks, but I guarantee you that probably the American Can Company made this. There were several other companies that did the typewriter tins as well, but I would bet that this is probably the American Can Company. Now, the next part of the lot, so you'll get this tin, but you're also going to get a Webster typewriter, portable typewriter instruction manual, which I just think has some cool graphics. Now, the Webster XL500 came out in the 60s. The most notable version came out in 1967. It has some really cool graphics. I believe the one that they produced in 67 was blue. And it's just so cool. Look at the typing hands with the keyboard there. It's got some great font on the front. And then when you open it up, it's got all of the instructions for this particular typewriter. So you can see how that's being used there. And then they have changing the ribbon. So this tells you how to change the ribbon. And then you go and open it up, and it's got some more cool graphics. So here's the typewriter itself, and it kind of explains some of the different parts of the typewriter, so the carriage, all of those things. And then in the back, it's got more of your lessons on how to actually use the typewriter. And this is cool because it's like a little typing lesson, which I just think is amazing. Practice makes perfect. This booklet was printed in Japan. So this is probably from the 60s. I believe that this tin is earlier, probably 50s. So I don't know that they necessarily were together. because this is advertising Underwood, but it's got the same name, Webster. And I just think that this is just such a fun little lot. So if you want to start a typewriter ribbon tin collection, and you can be like me, you can have this in a flower frog with your little tin next to it, and it would just be a perfect little display piece. So this Webster typewriter tin lot is going to be only $10. $10 by giving me number 8. $10, number 8 for the Webster typewriter lot. And as someone mentioned earlier, you can use these small tins for little sewing kits if you like. They're great purse-sized little items.
That's a great idea. All right, my last item, the little watch tin, which could also be used as a sewing kit because it actually locks shut, went to Cheryl Ross. So congratulations, Cheryl. Thank you for picking that up. And yes, once again, I've got another matchbook. And once again, I've got another World's Fair item. So we've got 2 for 1. And this one is an actual matchbook. There are no longer matches in it, so it is safe for me to ship. But this one is, if people collect matchbooks or follow or know anything about the matchbooks, it's all about the advertising. It's all about the what exactly it is. Where the other ones were just fun little graphics. This one, first, you've got the Wrigley's Spearmint chewing gum. So right out of the gate, you've got something that would be a collectible in and of itself. But this is actually the Wrigley's Spearmint gum matchbook from the 1939 World's Fair. So we had the Biosphere in the Expo 67 pins. Now we've got the Tryon and the Perisphere from the 1939 World's Fair. So, and this is perfect for the advertising sale because it's actually advertising, visit the Wrigley exhibit at the New York World's Fair. Of course, made in the USA. All of the matches have been used, but it was saved, and you just got this absolutely gorgeous piece of Wrigley advertising with a collectible piece from the New York World's Fair, this is probably one of the most collected of the World's Fair because actually those 2 items that are in there. It's always a fun one. I was super excited to pick these up. This does not fall into the, trustees going to do everything super cheap because these have value to them. So instead of putting this onto Etsy, I'm selling it here, but I'm still only selling it for $8. So you've got a 1939 World's Fair gum matchbook from the Wrigley exhibit for $8 by giving me number 77. $8.77 for the World's Fair matchbook.
My gosh, Patrick, that is just a stunner of a piece of advertising. Holy moly, I love that. And great for junk jar, as Vinny was pointing out in the chat, because it would look really good with other matchbooks if you collected them. My last item went to Melody's Mini Miscellaneous. So thank you so much, Melody, for picking up that typewriter lot. And my next item is an honor to the triptych. So if you've been following us on Sunday nights at 8 p.m., we've been rotating between all of our channels. Nate is in the chat. He's part of the triptych, and Patrick as well. And we've been really doing some fun triptych information into different areas of collecting and research and topics. And it's just been fantastic. And I learned a lot from Patrick's triptych on Broadway and his little area that he covered in that triptych on playbills. So this is a 1950s playbill, 1952, I believe, to be exact, for the Alvin Theater. And it's the show Point of No Return. Now, Patrick, can you tell us a little bit about this particular style of playbill?
Yeah, so playbill ended up changing quite a bit over the years, and they went back and forth on whether they would include the theater's name. They do it again now. They stopped doing it for a little while. This one, though, is a really interesting kind of a snapshot in time. You'll always be able to figure it out from the show. So this is a 1952 show, Point of No Return. But what's interesting about the Alvin Theater is that name is no longer in existence. It was renamed the Neil Simon Theater in 1983. So as a collectible, there are people, myself included, that are trying to collect a playbill from individual theaters, that particularly the ones that have been destroyed, but also the ones that have changed names, because you just kind of get an individual snapshot. Sometimes they'll have a date on the inside. Oh, that's great when you've got the floor plan, of exactly how the theater was laid out. Sometimes I think actually Point of No Return, if I remember right, was it a Henry Fonda? Who was on the cover? I actually didn't. Oh, there you go, to copyright, 1952, right there. Who's on the cover? Is that Henry Fonda?
I don't know. That's a good question, Patrick. I'm
You
not.
should have a bio in there. I mean, I don't know, you don't
Yeah.
have to look, but sometimes there are people that'll have like really small roles because they weren't famous at the time yet, and so then they become more famous. So people will collect them for things like that as well, saying, okay, this is their first Broadway role, or if that is Henry Fonda, he's not really known necessarily for Broadway. Tim is saying he thinks it is too. I only vaguely remember. I don't think I've seen it. So who's who in the audience? In the audience, okay. But yeah, so and Bonnie's saying yes, it is. So a couple of people are saying it looks
Henry
like
Fonda.
Okay, there you go. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there's the title page. And there you go, the date. So that was from, and that's really nice about it, September 29th, 1952. So you can find very specific, and a lot of people will collect them when you get online. They'll try and find the ones that match their birthday. So if their birthday was in the week of September 29th, 1952, this was a Broadway show during that time. But the theater doesn't exist in that name. The theater still exists, it's just no longer under that name.
And I believe this show won some awards, didn't it, Patrick?
Yeah, I did look that one up. I want to say it won the Outer Critics Award for Best Show. And I want to say I didn't see Henry Fonda's name, but it was like a supporting actor or something, won a Tony Award. So yes, it didn't run for super, super long. I think it only ran within the 1951-52 season. But plays didn't always run super, super long. So but it's cool that it's got a picture of the actor on there. So that would make it very collectible as well.
It's a very cool piece. And why I picked this up was not only because we had done the triptychs on playbills, and Patrick's information is just fascinating, and I learned so much from him, but the advertisements are really cool.
Absolutely.
So this is a ad for Chesterfield premium quality cigarettes to offer both regular and king size. And look at the graphics on that.
And the theater playbills almost always, up until like the 80s, almost always had a full color or a full page ad on the back for cigarettes. Like that was alcohol and cigarettes. Now, Tim Tiafane is asking, was the other name on there Leland Hayward, which is not a name I recognize, but did you say that?
I think I did. Let me look.
Was that the co-star? Is that the woman that's on the front?
Leroy Dana, Frank Conroy, Paul Huber, Robert Ross, Phil Author, Patricia Smith, Bartlett Robinson. And no, I do not see that name. I'm sorry, Tim. But the other advertisements in this are really cool. And what I really thought was amazing is there's an advertisement for Trifari jewelry. And I am a huge fan of Trifari brooches. They make some great quality things. And this is not only advertising Trifari, but it's advertising Crown Trifari, because there's a little crown on the top. And this is their Chantilly line. So let's see. Earrings would have been $5. The collar necklace, $15. And the bracelet, $10. You also have advertisements for the brass rail, for fashion tips, for Gotham gold stripe. I mean, the graphics in this whole book is amazing because it's just filled with all kinds of advertisements. Here's a perfume advertisement, which is just so cool. Look at the little car. They have an advertisement for Julie Wilson and the Miracle lipstick. That's on the other side. There's even advertisements for Philip Morris cigarettes. And then you've got the TWA ad with the airplane, the ambassadors, the new super constellations. And I just think that all TWA ads are amazing because look at the little graphics on the bottom here with the stewardess and the flight attendants. Just amazing, amazing graphics. And then you've got even more cool graphics. So look at this, the Starlight roof for Waldorf Astoria Hotel. And it advertises before and after the theater. And look at that graphic on the top. Isn't that cool? That is just really amazing. And then there's all kinds of cologne, perfumes. Let's see, advertisement for Dewar's White Label. So I won't show all of this because I think it will be kind of fun when you get this to actually go through. There's, of course, more cigarettes with your Lucky Strike ad. But this would just be a fun little conversation piece on your coffee table because even if you're not in the theater or you don't know the show or don't have any connection to the show, like Patrick said, you could collect it for your birthday or just for the amazing ads, because it really is a snapshot in time that I think is just so amazing. So this 1950s playbill can be yours for only $10. $10 by giving me number 12. $10, number 12, for the Alvin Theater Playbill. And I do want to mention that other than a little tear up at the top and some wear here, it is in excellent condition. I don't see any staining or tears on the inside of the playbill.
So my last item, the 1939 World's Fair matchbook, went to Cheryl Ross. So thank you, Cheryl, for picking that item up as well. So not going back into dusty, crusty, and rusty because it's wood. So we are definitely moving into industrial decor, and I just love this little box. So this is an SW Card manufacturing company from Mansfield, Massachusetts. The manufacturers of taps, dies, and screw plates. And it is a well-made individual box that has the sliding style. And I do apologize if this does it. This is like a squeaking chalkboard if it happens again. Hold on. Sorry. It has a movable divider. So right now it's got the divider to make it 2 even sides, but you can see there's ridges here on the other side. You can actually remove this little slot and make one side 3 pieces and then the other one 1. So it is just a great little functional box. It's got some great patina to it. I mean, this thing has been sitting in a manufacturing machine shop for years. I mean, it's not greasy to the point of like the grease is going to come off, but it's been surrounded by oils and grease and industrial solvents for decades. I don't know the era of something like this. I'm not sure if there's a way to tell from something like this. Do you have any guesses for you're the wood manufacturing person? Do you have any guesses?
I mean, for something like that, I would probably say 40s, if not earlier, because of the way that it's made on the side. So it has what I would consider not a dovetail joint, because there actually are differences. That would be a finger joint. And it's common for old wood advertising boxes. Now, you can also research the company and what they've sold. Sometimes that's a little bit harder because the companies were only around for so long and there's not much information. But sometimes on old tool forums too, there's a website called toolforum.com where people actually collect old tool things like this. You could post that, and most people usually have a little bit of history there, which is great. Or reach out to Old Tape 61 on Instagram, who collects this kind of stuff.
Oh, cool. I mean, I just was enamored by how they abbreviated manufacturing. You don't typically see the word with 2 apostrophes in it to abbreviate manufacturing. But if they tried to spell it out, it wouldn't have fit. So you just got this really cool box. Again, totally functional. Got that little bit of a little squeak there. So apologize if I should have trigger warning. But it's got the little finger, piece to actually be able to pull it out. So it's very tight. I'm not going to say necessarily it's airtight, but it's a very like you said, well manufactured box. It's just a cool box, whether you want to store something in it, use it as a platform, either, as a base or even upright, or, put it upright as something tall in the background of just an industrial display. It is just a really cool looking piece and a functional box with some great age to it. So you can have it for $10. So $10 for the manufacturing box by giving me number 85. $10.85 for the vintage box.
That is just fabulous, Patrick. I love those old boxes, and especially tool pieces are just really amazing. I have a collection of those things myself, and they just are to die for. I love that old construction too, because they don't make things like they used to. You don't go into a store and buy a tool in a wooden box anymore. It's all plastic and annoying packaging. So really fantastic. My last item, the playbill, went to Tiger over at Tiger's Timeless Treasures. So thank you so much, Tiger, for picking that up. My next item is moving back to some ephemera, and this is another ink blotter, but I have never seen one that is just so well decorated before. And I think that these are so cool. I just love these ink blotters. This is an ink blotter from 1910, and this is advertising an optical company. Now, they did move. And of course, there's no zip code on this because it's got some true age to it. Look at the lady in her hat. I just think that is amazing. You've got the gold going around the outside, and it's for Western Optical Company, now at 1002 Half Street, Olive Street, And I think that this is just fantastic. So it says, and now in our new and more convenient location where we hope to see you soon, 4 expert refractionists. So that's probably a very early way of saying optometry. And then it lists their names, and it says, with modern equipment and our own lens grinding plant, assure you promote efficient optical service. I just think that this is cool. And of course, advertising also that they make glasses. This ink blotter is in really good condition for its age. There is a little bit of spots there where someone has taken their pen and gotten the excess ink off the nib. But overall, for something being this old, it's pretty remarkable. And this is, again, another piece that would be awesome framed in a flower frog and a little vignette. It's just such a cool thing. And then if you have, of course, an ephemera bowl, you could have this displayed like this so you could see the top of the lady's umbrella and hat. It would just look really great in one of those settings. So this 1910 optical ink blotter can be yours for only $10. $10 by giving me number 9. $10, number 9, for the amazing 1910 ink blotter.
That is a fantastic piece. Just that Gibson girl hair, the way she's dressed is amazing. So the last piece, number 85, my wooden toolbox, went to Jean Marie. So thank you so much, Jean, for picking that up. So my last item is my last advertising, and this is in honor of Katie. These are both Coca-Cola advertising pieces, but they are also my last piece of World's Fair items for tonight because they are the Coca-Cola ads from the 1982 World's Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is the only World's Fair I ever attended because it was the only World's Fair that I know of during, well, actually they kept having them, but it's the only one I think in the United States during my lifetime. So you've got the Sun Sphere is what is the remaining building or structure from the Knoxville World's Fair. I believe there was a Simpson episode that made fun of it and called it, it was turned into the ball of wigs or something like that. The shop,
yeah, I think so.
It was like a wig shop. So, and I think it fell over at some point during the show. So, it does not necessarily the highest revered World's Fair item, but it was 1982. World's Fair was still kind of a big deal. And it was a very big deal that was in the United States and in the Midwest. So this one was issued from the Coca-Cola Company in partnership with Kroger from May to October 1982, Knoxville, Tennessee, USA. This is a plastic cup. So this would have been, you got your little fresh squeezed lemonade or whatever you had. You would have gotten this at the fair. And so you had something to carry it around. Wig sphere. There you go. I knew it was something fun. Something that you would have carried around with you during the fair because it was plastic. You dropped it. It wasn't hazardous. So it was something you could carry around. So you get one of these, but then you also get the glass World's Fair that was issued by Coca-Cola Company with McDonald's. So this would have been back in the day. McDonald's used to have different, they had the Hamburglar and like all the character glasses. This was one that they issued specifically for the 1982 World's Fair. Now, what I do not remember is if this was only available like in that region or if this was something that was sold nationwide. That I have no idea. It does specifically say Knoxville, Tennessee, but Coca-Cola is based in Atlanta. McDonald's is based in Illinois. I don't know necessarily where these would have been distributed because it is specifically saying it's commemorative glass. So I don't know exactly how they would have done this. Maybe there was an exhibit. Maybe you could buy this at the gift shop at the fair. That I don't remember, but it's in absolutely perfect, pristine condition. The graphics are in fantastic condition. I don't think this was ever used. So you get the glass World's Fair from McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and the plastic World's Fair with Kroger and Coca-Cola. You get the two of them for $8. So $8 for the pair of glasses from 1982 World's Fair, $8 by giving me number 72. $8.72 for the pair of glasses. You're muted, Katie.
Oh, I'm muted. Of course, I'm always muted. That happens. Those glasses are so cool, Patrick. I love the McDonald's glasses. We had a pair of Mickey Mouse ones growing up that have never broken, which is a miracle. especially since I was like 4 and drinking milk out of them. So you would think like, an accident would happen, but I always have a special place in my heart for those commemorative glasses. Now, my last item is actually a mystery box, and this is going to work a little bit differently than all of the rest of the items we've had tonight. This is going to be a fun game. So I'm going to do this similar to the way Fatbird Finds does their mystery boxes, and you're going to have to guess the number. Now, this mystery box is going to have a mix of vintage items, including some advertising and ephemera. So you will get some fun other advertising and ephemera things in the mystery box, but you're also going to get some other vintage items included. So this is a mega mystery box. It is $25, and the number falls between 10 and 15. You have to guess the number. The number falls between 10 and 15. And Nate will be monitoring this number in the chat. It is going to be $25, and I am going to watch the chat as well. Of course, we have to go by Nate's word in New Zealand because the numbers do come in really, really fast. So, and they're all at the same timestamp. So I got to make sure that what Nate says go. And I don't see, oh yes, okay. I see the number already. Wow. Okay, you guys got some mental telepathy going on with me. So I'm going to wait for Nate to say the word and who gets it. But I do only have one mystery box available, so it's the first person that guesses this number. And I'm really, really excited about putting together this mystery box. It's always so fun to do them, and it's a great way for you guys to open up something and get a chance to experience each little item, because it's just the fun of opening it. You don't really know what's in it, but it's going to be really fantastic. And mystery box goes to Melody's Mini Miscellaneous. So congratulations, Melody. You won the mystery box. That will be easy to package up your other items for tonight in that mystery box. So that was my last item. So, perfect. Patrick, do you have anything that didn't sell that you want to show while
sure.
some new people are
coming in? I got to highlight a few of the things. So I did not sell. I had a couple of the small items. So if you purchased other items, you could get these and tuck them in for basically no additional cost. We've got the set of, again, my little Matchbox theme or Matchbook theme that I hadn't intended. So you've got the little Matchbooks of emery boards. These are available. There are still 3 of these available. The little TV center repair guy from Beloit, Wisconsin. Those were $5 each, number 51. So there's still 3 of those available. And I mentioned before, we had the Biosphere from Expo 67. So I've got the little button from Biosphere Expo 67 that was sponsored by Avis. There's 2 of those available, and those were $5 each. So there's 2 people that can give. That was number 74. The little coupons, the little tobacco coupons from Raleigh were still available. Those are $5, number 52. And then the last thing that didn't sell was the Ice and Coal Company, the Klaus and Gradient industrial spoon with bottle opener and meat fork, all from Ice, the Klaus and Gradient Ice and Coal Company, and that the pair of those were available for $10 for number 89.
Those are fabulous, great on a wall. And I had a few items that are still available tonight. The first one is I've got the 1930s leather proofing snowproof 10. This is just so cool with that clover leaf and the moon and then the horseshoe. This 10 was $12, number 5, $12, number 5. And then I have the 1910 optical ink blotter available, $10, number 9. So those are the 2 things that I have available for you tonight. And I think that will conclude our sale this evening. It was so fun having Patrick on, and this was just a fabulous sale. You had amazing advertising items, Patrick.
Definitely. There's the theme sales. I don't do that often anymore, but they're fun because it's fun to shop for something. And it looks like you've got a taker for one of your items, number 5.
Susan Houghton, you'll be getting that 10. I will write you down. Thank you so much. Let me just
Fantastic.
make a quick note of that. So thank you. You are going to love that tin. It is fantastic.
Yeah, so lots of fun stuff that's going to some great homes. So I hope everyone enjoys the items. I should be doing my invoicing by this weekend. I'm not doing my live sale tomorrow night. I've shifted to the later time slot. I don't have rehearsal tomorrow, but I'm not going to be available to do the actual sale. So I will not. This is my only sale for the week, but I will try and get all invoices out by this weekend. If you don't, you haven't seen it by like late Sunday, I may not have your information. So make sure you reach out to me or check your spam folder and see if it might be there. I also wanted to highlight, I forgot to mention at the beginning, I did not see her in the chat, so I didn't think of it. But I wanted to thank everyone that supported the Just One More Dachshund rescue. I made my final payment to the rescue today. There are still a handful of people who have not paid me for some of the things they bought. So I'm kind of doing it on the honor system, or I'll have to resell them. But regardless, I needed to get that done by the end of this year. So that went out. The payment I made to them, I rounded up and did $2,800. And they had received $2,300 in donations in the name of the mystery box extravaganza that we did for the grand prize mystery boxes. So between the two, we raised over $5,100 for the Dachshund rescue. So a lot of people in the chat all participated in that. We're all part of that on my channel. So I just wanted to, since I'm not going to have my show tomorrow, I wanted to thank everybody for doing that. And our goal had been $5,000. So I was thrilled that we actually made our goal. So that is now done. And yes, as Peterson's saying,
yes, please
want something from me. It would be nice if you would pay me before the end of the year. But it is what it is at this point. I needed to get it wrapped up, and we will deal with the repercussions later if I have to. But it was nice. So many people donated items for me to sell. So many resellers donated mystery boxes. I think we ended up with 36 mystery boxes. It was just fantastic of how many people participated. And I just wanted to let everyone know that we raised quite a bit of money. And then Sunday will be my next triptych. So I can't believe we're already going to be pushed into 2022.
Oh, I know.
The first triptych of the new year. That will be mine on my channel, Trusty Huckster Mercantile, 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. That will be highlighting, and I'll be telling the tale of Hot Wheels, specifically covering the first 10 years, which is when they issued the red lines. So we'll talk about that, collecting them, what to identify. And I've already learned a ton of stuff just in prepping for the video. So looking forward to doing that. And I'm not sure if he's still in the chat, but I'm going to give one more shout out. I am hosting the next duo dive, and he was in the chat earlier, but I am hosting the man himself, the myth, the legend, stud with a stash. Sam is going to be coming to my channel next Wednesday, a week from today, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and we will be we'll be doing a duo dive. Katie and I will be doing a duo dive with Sam on perpetual calendars. So we're kicking off 2022 with a duo dive on perpetual calendars and his collection, as well as Katie's collection and a couple that I have as well. So
I'm really looking forward to that, Patrick. That is going to be so fascinating.
Absolutely. So what's going on your channel?
So I've got some fun things coming up. Since Patrick isn't having a sale tomorrow at 11 p.m., I will be going live and doing a big friend mail unboxing. So if you guys have sent me something in the last month or so, I do have all of your treasures, and I've been really enjoying them, and I can't wait to share them on YouTube. So if you've sent me something, do know that I probably have gotten it, and I will be showcasing that tomorrow. And then on Friday, I keep wanting to say Sunday because that's the triptych, but Friday, Angela, dear Angela's Vintage, who's been in the chat, we are hosting a big mystery box and game night. So that will be New Year's Eve. It will start at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it will go all the way through 10:30. And I will let you know now who's going to be on the show. So I'm really excited. We've got a whole list of over 14 resellers coming on, doing boxes and playing games. You can tune in at 8 p.m. and then we will end at 10:30. So you've got enough time to hop on one of the news stations and catch the ball drop. And let me tell you the list of people that we have for the show. So let's see. I put that on my Instagram. So we have Misty, Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter, Daniel, Tacky is Me, Catherine Young, The Kitschy Cat, Claudia K. Vintage, Tippy Winks Vintage, Oak Grove Mercantile, Pamela Blanchard. We have, I'm trying to read the list, Angela Marksberry, Tiger's Timeless Treasures, and a whole bunch of other people coming on. It's a little small on my phone, but I will post a big list over on Instagram of all the people joining in. And Jeffrey and Barb will be closing out the evening with us from Real Nifty Vintage for a fun game. So make sure you tune into that. That's going to be a lot of fun on my channel, 8 to 10:30. And I will see you all then. And of course, for the triptych and all the other fun events coming up the next coming weeks and into the new year. So thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. This has been a great sale. Do make sure that you send your information if you purchased anything tonight. It never hurts to send it again, just in case we don't have it. Our emails are linked in the description box of this video, as well as on screen. And our fabulous moderators, Nate and Peterson, have been putting them in throughout the evening. So thank you guys so much for your help. And of course, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. And I will see you all next time. So as always, stay in, stay safe, and bend YouTube. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.